Welcome to another episode of NeverEndingPanel.com. Thank you for joining us out there in the audience. And tonight, to my immediate right, we have Michelle Pinchas.
Pinchas.
I don't care.
Michelle, I don't care, who is joining us on our panel. Longtime member of Losfest and Associate producer of NeverEndingPanel.com. To her right is Tim Powers, a gentleman who is the two-time winner of the World Fantasy Award for the critically acclaimed novels Last Call and Declare, winner of the PKD Award for the Anubis Gates, known for his secret history novels in which actual events are explained through supernatural factors. And to his right is my brother, Donnie Collin, a distinguished gentleman, fine individual who has enabled me to achieve a life of authordom. My gratitude.
That's why I hate you, man. Just makes me feel bad. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, go ahead.
Tonight we are discussing something of absolute importance, something which needs to be discussed, something which I'm surprised science fiction hasn't gotten to at this point. Fantasy has ignored, and it's a shame. We are going to break this down. It has to be done. Merlin versus Dumbledore.
Go ahead, Michelle. We're throwing this one at you first, since you were so anxious to get on it. Forget the guest star.
Tim who?
No pressure. Tim who? Michelle, I must.
Award winner of what?
I'm not
You
going
better
to
have
talk
something
over
good.
you.
You better have something good. Pressure.
Moving forward.
Yes.
Thank you, executive producer. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm in the Merlin camp. The description of Merlin as we see him today was originally done in about the circa 1136. He's one of the most iconic wizards or iconic characters in all of our literary history.
The problem is that Dumbledore has the advantage of being created lately, when I say in the last, 10, 15 years, and so you can just do whatever you want with him. Merlin is strapped to his original powers, which are all earth-based, the elements. And
Actually,
but to give Merlin his due, he didn't actually get killed. He just got trapped.
And the other thing is I've also heard that he ages backwards or he's immortal.
Yes. I love that ages backwards.
And also, in modern times, he has been portrayed as casting spells and doing other things. There's a beautiful BBC where he's this really cute young guy.
Oh, that settles it for me then.
And also on Dumbledore's end of it, even J.K. Rowling paid tribute to Merlin because Dumbledore himself has the award of being in the Order of Merlin.
And I think you make a good point that Merlin does provide the original figure that all these are kind of stencils of. It's like Byron's Childe Harold is the basis of every sort of melancholy, solitary figure all the way up to James Bond. I always find Merlin more full of depths and complexity than say even Gandalf. I think the best portrayal of Merlin I've read is in C.S. Lewis's That Hideous Strength. The idea that to mess with magic as Merlin did, even though he did it back in the days when it wasn't precisely wrong, nevertheless damages you.
There's a price to be paid.
It blunts and kind of flattens you.
Right. That I'm reading now The Mists of Avalon, and it's really interesting. It's the Arthurian legend told through a female perspective, but their view of Merlin in that book is that Merlin is a very strong believer in God and the universe, and that magic is simply one of these things that is part of destiny and these foretellings and prophecies. Even though he has the ability to control it.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to say Gandalf is the best wizard of all time.
Thank you, Soundman Tim. Why didn't you raise your hand, man? I would have called you over there. And not only that, by the way, what's really interesting that you said that is that when I, because I do my research, I get on the web and I'm like, okay, Merlin, versus Dumbledore, and there's 5,000 Merlin versus Gandalfs.
All right,
There's no Merlin versus very few Merlin versus Dumbledore.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Then we can simply say Merlin versus Gandalf versus Dumbledore.
Well, that's what they all say, but we can't because we've already,
we already, so we can't.
There's been billboards all over town, dude.
Yeah, it's
one of the things that as a writer, I really appreciate Merlin because I can put Merlin in any one of my stories, whereas I can't really put Dumbledore.
All right, hold on.
But we're still not getting into the fight. I want to robot chicken this. If you throw those guys into a cage,
I'm sorry.
Let's going to beat the crap out of them.
No.
I don't like it.
No.
Intellectual, beautiful.
I'm going to go to Dumbledore. I'm going to go to Dumbledore for one reason.
Yeah.
Being a teacher, if Merlin had to deal with 500 screaming kids of all ages trying to blast people with magic at all time, I don't think he would last a week. And Dumbledore managed to last 5 decades. So on that level, I think he's got the patience to outlast just about anybody. In a cage fight, I don't know. Dumbledore has to have seen every dirty, rotten, nasty, inconceivable, annoying, stupid, idiotic prank, trick, or downright devious deed that has ever been done, and I don't think Merlin can even think as nasty as half the people in Gryffindor, or let alone Slytherin.
Michelle, go give him the microphone. No, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Charles E. Jackson II, scream from the audience so they can hear you, since there is no microphone in your hand.
Merlin could barely handle one student. He was the tutor for the young Arthur.
And look how well he did with that.
It was a big student.
All right, so it's a very funny comment, A-Town, but I'm not sure that being able to handle or being a principal of a school enables you to actually go up against a master, magician, wizard,
3,000-year-old.
Thank you very much. What he said.
Mage match.
There you go, brother.
I wonder if Merlin would have an advantage since, as Michelle said, he lived retrograde through time.
Wasn't he also like the son of Satan?
Some sort of airy spirit. Some kind of
son of the devil,
incubus.
something like that.
No.
I think in some of the legends he was.
That's the people that didn't like him said that.
Right. And every president that they don't like is also the son of Satan too. Well, I don't know. I think the wisdom thing counts here. Dumbledore is certainly wise, knowledgeable in the black arts, and had to deal with all those students. But Merlin is older and therefore wiser, and a master manipulator. By the way, Merlin won a lot of his fights by not doing things, by actually thinking things through and then using very
Sun Tzu would love Merlin. That's
exactly.
True.
I also think that Dumbledore probably would concede the match or throw the match. I mean, he threw the match with Snape to do the right thing. And
I haven't actually read that book yet.
Oh, thanks a lot, Michelle.
Okay, it's been out for
Spoiler alert!
It's been out for 2.
Wait, can we do it backwards like Merlin? No, go ahead. Yeah.
It's been out
Well,
for.
I'm not going to bother reading it now.
Yeah.
It's been out.
Shame on you.
Game over, man. Game over.
I'm going to have to, but it's like that's been out for a while, so I'm not worried about giving spoilers. If you haven't read
But Dumbledore's okay in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, when I got the book, when the first day it came out, it was already spoiled that Dumbledore dies.
What?
No.
If you haven't heard that, then you've been living under a rock.
All right, so let's go down the board since we have about a minute left. Consensus starting with Eitan. Why don't you? Where do you hit it?
I just gotta go with Dumbledore. I think he'd pull something. I think in a cage match, I think he'd pull something, do something. You got to be wily. You just got to be unpredictable. I mean, Merlin would have to have a 2,000-year plan in order to make this work, and if it was just them in a cage match, I think Dumbledore just dealing with kids that often, he's got to be
Merlin versus Dumbledore.
He's got to be quicker. He's got to be able to deal with the unpredictability. I don't think Merlin's got it. Merlin's great at chess. He's not great at a rumble.
And you've eaten up 60 of our 60 seconds. No, Michelle, go ahead. Gee, what do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
Going to hurt you.
And I am
Moving
afraid.
forward.
Okay, Merlin would win. Merlin's had 2,000 years to come up with strategies and stuff, and he's a more powerful wizard.
I agree. I think Merlin has alliances with not just all the weird ethereal spirits, but with the very soil and rivers and mountains themselves.
Yep, I'm in the Merlin camp too. You are outvoted, and therefore are wrong. We're better.
Next week, Borgamot versus Sauron.
And that about wraps up this episode of NeverEndingPanel.com. We thank you all for being with us tonight. We especially
If you
thank
think that we
our
screwed
guest-
up in some way, please comment down
I'm in
below.
the middle of thanking the guest author.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And we thank our special guest author.
He
Tim
says
Powers,
comment
for being-
down below.
Can I finish
Yes.
thanking our special guest
Yes, go
author?
ahead.
And we thank our special guest author, Tim Powers, for being with us tonight. And you can do your down there below thing, comment thing now.
We already did it.
We did?
Yeah, we
Thank
did.
you very much. That's a wrap.
All right, well done.